Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now June 10th of 2021. Now, one thing that a lot of Star Wars fans were very up in arms over just a couple of months ago was the Gina Carano firing by Kathleen Kennedy over at Lucasfilm, and how it was so poorly handled on social media, and how a lot of Star Wars fans out there really stood up for Gina Carano and really defended her day in and day out. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Also, make sure to check me out at Mike01 on Twitter. Now, that's the one great thing about the fandom, is that they did stand up for Gina Carano. They defended her, they tried everything in their power to cheer her up. Of course, there's another band of Star Wars fans out there that disliked what Gina Carano pretty much was talking about on social media, of that big analogy that she was putting out on there. Of course, everybody has their own opinions, and I respect that. You know, you don't have to like Gina Carano, you don't have to agree or disagree with her. That's all on everybody's opinions, and that's a part of being human. So, when we go ahead and move forward, when we look at everything related to the Disney Star Wars universe, there's a lot at play here. John and Dave are pouring their heart and soul into developing these new Star Wars stories like Ahsoka, Mando. We've got the book of Boba Fett coming out this year. We've got tons of unannounced Star Wars TV series that are actually going to be announced this fall, so looking forward to that as well. Here's the other thing that I believe a lot of fans need to know, is that Kathleen Kennedy's The Acolyte series is falling into a lot of trouble as we speak. There's been a lot of setbacks because of creative differences between herself and, of course, Leslie Headland, which is actually pretty surprising to say the least. But moving forward from all of this, what really does intrigue me the most is what Gina Carano had to say about returning or getting rehired or coming back to Star Wars overall in general, and exactly what her stance on all of that really is. Now, specifically, of course, given that since the sequel trilogy's end, both Disney and Lucasfilm have been working close with creators like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and even George Lucas to embrace the new Star Wars universe moving ahead. Now, it's described, however, that in a recent interview with actress Gina Carano, when she was questioned about the future of Star Wars and if she would even consider coming back to the Star Wars franchise, if she were to be given the opportunity or being rehired, Gina Carano went on to state, "That's a very tough question for me, and I truly have to be careful with my words right now, but I have been in the talks with both John and Dave. Still, since they are just wonderful people who have had so much respect for me, would I want to come back to this amazing world that brought me so many opportunities? Yes. Would it be unhealthy for me, both as a person and professional? That I don't know just yet, and it's going to take tons of thinking over with my life to see where that all leads. I am really trying my hardest to not get anyone's hopes up just yet, but just know that I am still talking with John and Dave about possibilities, and of course, we are working things out for the future and what it holds." When further questioned about her firing, on top of that, Gina Carano went on to state that, "I felt so defeated, like I didn't know what to do with my life for a couple of weeks, but then I decided to stand up and voice my opinion with Ben Shapiro, and it really hit so many Star Wars fans emotionally, and of course, and how they really defended me, and it just makes me feel so warm inside that the fans really had stood up for me and defended me for so very long." Now, on top of this, separate from all of this, we do know that Kathleen Kennedy has been trying her absolute hardest to prevent a Gina Carano rehiring situation. She wants to prevent that all from happening, and she's been pretty much in the talks with the higher-ups over at Disney. We're talking about, of course, the board members and even the CEO like Bob Chapek, to kind of prevent this from all happening. We talked about this a couple of days ago. May 27th was a big day this year, because that very day is when John and Dave had their final meeting with the higher-ups over at Disney. And that meeting had all to do with Gina Carano coming back, and that's all going to be finalized by this September on that major offer. That's when they're going to be able to give the offer to Carano, giving her a chance to say yes or no. If she says no, she won't come back at all. If she says yes, well, it's going to be a very interesting scenario to see exactly how the fans are going to react to that, how others like Kathleen Kennedy are going to react to that, and so on and so forth. Here's the other thing that I think a lot of fans are also very worried about, is, of course, you know, where is Star Wars going right now? We do know that Rangers of the New Republic has been canceled. Technically, yes. Technically, no. It's hard to say. What they did with the Rangers is that, yes, they deleted the show in spirit. You know, the overall title and the overall character of Cara Dune being the main lead. That, of course, is all being erased. But what they are doing is that they are restructuring the show. It's going to be set within the same exact time frame. It's going to have many of the familiar characters that we all know and love in there, as it was originally intended to be. And they're going to give it a brand new title, a brand new story, but it's going to still be based days, weeks, or months after, of course, Return of the Jedi, showing us everything that leads up to the Battle of Jakku, which takes place 1 year after, of course, Return of the Jedi. So there's a lot at work right now, and there's a lot of things happening with Rangers and how it's going to get its own new title. Now, with that being said, Gina Carano obviously is being very careful with her wording. She knows that the Star Wars fans have a lot of issues with her, but she also knows that a lot of Star Wars fans have nothing but love for her. So it's a very tough scenario for her to say what she wants to say. This most likely matches directly up with what we have been talking about for a couple of weeks now, that yes, John and Dave have had a lot of conversations with the board members over at Disney about Gina's return and exactly what they can do about that. Now, Chapek, on the other hand, the CEO of all things with Disney, you know, Marvel, Star Wars, whatever have you, he's actually working day in and day out as well to kind of get things balanced with Star Wars, to kind of bring it in the right direction. And that's going to take a lot of work. I mean, it's not going to be something that's going to be done overnight. This whole Gina scenario is going to be finalized by this September. So a decision has been made by the board members. We're going to be learning more about that throughout the months of July and August leading into September. And then by the end of September is when Gina is going to get that offer on whether or not she wants to come back. It's all seeming to actually dwindle down to Gina's decision on whether or not she wants to come back. To be honest with you guys, I'm not quite sure if Gina would even want to come back to Star Wars. It really is all in her court here. It really is. It depends on, you know, two things. Does she really want to put up with something like that ever again, of getting let go from a project? And number two, is it going to be good for her as a career? You know, I think that she would do it for the fans at the very minimum, but at the same exact time, I'm sure that she has some self-respect, so I wouldn't be too surprised that she declines this offer. So yeah, guys, you know, like I've said before in the past, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.